So here we are again. I believe the technical thing has been sorted out. In fact, we had put people into it and finally it has all gone right. And I believe you are able to see us all and you're able to watch on the screens that you have got in front of you. 11 runs have been scored so far. It is the brother of Parvez Rasool, the legendary Parvez Rasool. Down the leg goes the bowler and the batsman without just fiddling with the ball. And here we go, it's 11 runs so far have been scored and we are into the third over. It's Asif Rasool once again in this over, crosses the umpire and bowls. It's a shot of a good length again. The batsman tried to get a good heave over the ball, wanted to just loft that ball over the mid-on region, but completely missing the line of the ball, and the ball was gathered by the wicketkeeper there, and no more damage done, as we have already, as Team Bird have already done mistake in the very first over, as they have, that's costed them a wicket, and Asif Rasool just putting his hands into the air as he was very close of getting another wicket for his team here. In fact, I believe the batsmen haven't been able to read the bowlers much. In fact, the second over it was sent down by Asghar. He was really impressive. He was moving the ball around, and then a couple of deliveries, bad deliveries we might say. Alright, and guided the ball towards the mid-on region, and the fielder will field the ball, and nevertheless the batsmen have just crossed over for another single. It is at the end of the third over. I believe the score is 12 at the loss of one wicket. That's just one down in the first over. I beg your pardon, I'm sorry. I believe there is still one delivery left in this over. Asif Rasool has really impressed, and I was talking about in the very first over as well. Like very less often we get to see Munawar that those spinners come into action, but then here at this afternoon in this very big match, final match, yet again the batsman not again being able to read the ball. He couldn't make any connection with the ball there, and finally at the end of the third over the score remains as 12, and they have already lost one wicket in the very first over, where you couldn't where the batsman couldn't do much to the wonderful delivery that was bowled by Asif Rasool. That was pitched short of a good length, later came into the batsman, and the batsman standing, not approaching the ball, could have just gone closer to the ball and then defended or else played a shot. That is something that the batsman didn't do, and we are commenting about it. So Munawar, we have finally had this thing sorted out, and you must be happy that the live coverage is very much on its way. And this is the fourth over in progress, and let me hand this mic over to my colleague Munawar.
Well, the pressure begins. The very first ball, Victor Vai down towards the far leg, 4 more runs. It was on the middle and leg, and Victor Vai, nicely done, helps that one all its way down to the boundary. 17 for the loss of one. We are in over number 4 of the match. Well, my colleague, we were talking about that very delivery. That was a beauty, but there was a time when people used to comment about that the spin cricket is dying down, but all of a sudden it's coming alive once again. We've seen that spinners weaving the web and castling Adil Border, the batsman of that caliber, was bowled him up that delivery. He was undone and he was unable to play on to that one, and just clean it up with that beauty from Asif Rasool. We are in over number 4. It's 17 for 1, and I would definitely love to welcome my colleague in Hindi, Nazir Saab.
धन्यवाद गौहर और मुनव्वर भाई आपका। और जिस प्रकार से इस समय गतिविधियां चल रही हैं, आकर्षक मुकाबला इस समय बीच मैदान में चलता हुआ, और आपको याद होगा निर्णायक कांटे की टक्कर का मुकाबला शालबुग सुपर लीग वर्ष 2022 के अंतर्गत अलीजाना क्रिकेट क्लब और बोर्ड्स इंटरप्राइजेस के विरुद्ध इस समय खूबसूरत ऐतिहासिक मैदान में चलता हुआ। 18 रन बना लिए हैं 1 विकेट के नुकसान पर 3.2 के बाद, और जिस प्रकार से शुरुआत हो चली है, शुरुआतिक ओवर्स में संयम रखना होगा, आत्मविश्वास के साथ बल्लेबाजी करनी होगी, क्योंकि ये देखते हुए एक विकेट गंवा चुके हैं यहाँ पर अलीजाना क्रिकेट क्लब की टीम, तो कहीं ना क्षमा कीजिएगा बोर्ड्स इंटरप्राइजेस की टीम। और जिस प्रकार से अभी तक गेंदबाजी हुई है, कहना चाहिए न पितुली और कसी हुई गेंदबाजी। गौर साहब।
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Nazir. In fact, we have had a great display of cricket this afternoon here at Shalbugh, Ganderbal, and once again in this over, the bowler comes, Asghar comes and bowls, and the batsman try to just play a shot over the square leg region, and the fielder very much quick and genuine upon his hands and has held a beauty. See, it's not that easy while running back on the field, and that too when you're playing, where there is a there is a temperature of around 35-36, then you have been standing on the field for such time, and it's already into the 5th over we guys have just gone into, and the fielder really keeping his eyes onto the ball, and that's what's required. Those are basic fielding tips that you always need to have in mind. In fact, Adil Kachru from behind the fielder, in fact deep down there at the square leg region, could have actually advanced towards the ball. He didn't do so because he was very he was sure that the other fielder was running after that ball. He was very sure of just catching that ball, and finally has done it, and by virtue of just holding that beautiful catch, Team Bird have just lost another wicket. and Team AliJana Cricket Club have really done impressive in the first 5 overs. See, we see those games, T20 games, in the first 6 overs, you believe. See, T20 is not a game of the first 6 overs, neither is it a game of the last 4 slog overs. But then I believe T20 is a game between 6 and the 16th over, I believe, because this is the period wherein the game, loses the shine a bit, then it goes a bit duller onto a duller side, then batsmen just, play the ball around the corners, and then they prefer to go on for singles and doubles, and they do not play as many big shots as they play in the power play time or else in the slog overs, alright? But then I must appreciate this young man who just held a beautiful catch. By virtue of holding those catches, you really win matches for your team, and that is absolutely true.
Well, by virtue of which they have been able to remove another one. It's 18 for 2 here in over number 4. This is Asghar, who's operating from that far end, and on strike will be the newcomer Aqib, who just racked in, and he replaces Wasim Khatru, another big name, another big guy, another big fish caught in the net on that occasion. Lord Enterprises locking arms with the open. The next one, he bowled that one, pitched up, and dug in shot, hits that one on the body, but I think he's clear. He's okay, there's nothing wrong with that one. It's 18 for 2. He's going to face the next one. We are in over number 4 of the match. Current run rate is 4.91, but the project score seems to be 98. Well, that won't be the case, because this is the game of glorious uncertainties. Things can really change with the passage of time.
Absolutely right, and at that time again Asghar bowled a short pitch delivery. The batsman should have really just scored, he had a chance to score runs on that delivery. Once again in this over, bowls, and that's a shot of a good length, and the batsman seems to be technically very sound, because that kind of a shot that could have been shatters on his innings too. If you've already lost 2 wickets way too early in the innings, then what is the requirement and need of going for those quick singles? I believe at this point of time it's really important that you really understand the game well. You really need to consolidate, get yourself in, you really need to stay at the crease, give some time to your own self, give some time to your own team, so as to make sure it's Aqib and Imtiaz lefty are the 2 batsmen out there in the middle, and Imtiaz will take the strike now. And I believe that Asif Rasool will continue his bowling as he has done incredibly well in the last 2 overs. Yeah, there is some valid suggestion coming from one of our mates from the team itself, and he has really guided us through something which is really important to understand, and we surely have an idea of what all we are into. And Asif Rasool, one more time, I believe this is a treat to your eyes, watching this. Oh man, that was an awkward bounce. And that is really something that you don't see while spinners are there in action. It happens very quite often when the bowlers, or when you see those tall, pacers coming in and then streaming into the batsman. And once again in this over, and the batsman, no clue again. That could have been again another wicket. The batsman jumping, off his feet there. The ball kept a bit low, but it wasn't low enough for the batsman, as not to completely read it out. It was basically, less technique used. Once again, I've been just talking about the technique that has been used by the batsman over here. See, it's a final game, and all the bigger names that we have got included in the squads from both the teams. So when you see things happen like this, it doesn't suit your interest. Basically, you have come out, you see the crowd around the ground, they've all come to see those to watch rather those big guns fire. They've come to watch them play, and there are a lot of youngsters who really see. A lot of people have just joined us live, and it's not just for the sake of entertainment. There are a lot of youngsters who kind of try to learn from these big guns. Like if you take names like Aqib Mir, Asif Rasool is bowling right now, has incredibly bowled well in this final match too. So then Wasim Khatru we had, who has just been taken out by the bowler Asghar there, and that could have been a catch again, and the fielder very much quick onto the ball, and yet again that was beautiful piece of fielding there around that mid-on range. And don't go to his body weight, he is actually even quick.
Observations made by Gawasab, and young birdies need to work on the basics if they want to enhance themselves with the new and skills to become a potent prospect of your side. You have to work on the basics. This has been worked away down towards the square leg area. We'll get a single nonetheless. 20 for 2. We are in over number 5, and the star of the valley, Asif Rasool, is operating from that very end. For we people, it's far end. It's Kalimullah, Batantri, Mudassir, and Majid Baba. This broadcast is brought to you by Arco Fenestration, followed by Anthem Sports India, Fashion Fiesta, Shining Star Papur, and MHM Multi-Fashion branded store. Thank you, Zangir Bhatt and others. It's 21 for 2 after 5 overs. Well, 5 done with 15 overs to go. Gavassab, I don't think that Bird Enterprise, the way they're operating, they have to make sure that they get their eyes in, then top of the shots. It is better to stay patient and let's make sure that you're going to play the ball on merit.
See, as I've already told you that this T20 game seems to be a game of the first 6 overs, and later in the slog overs 4 overs. Generally we have seen batsmen into action, and we have seen a lot of batsmen scoring a lot of runs in those final 4 slog overs. But then if you take my personal opinion about a T20 game, since I'm myself a cricketer and I have watched a lot of people play cricket, that could happen another wicket. Asghar is really impressing. When he was bowling to the right hander, he was taking the ball away from that right hander. Now since the left hander has come into the middle, and now this time around Asghar has bowled a shot of a good length delivery that has again moved away from the body of the left hander. That indicates that this gentleman, young man, this young tall man is is capable and incredibly well done, that he can move the ball around. He can bring it back into the batsman, the right hander. He can move it out of the right hander as well. So that is one good sign about this young bowler. One more time he comes into this over. The batsman very cautious that there could have been a possibility of a run, and they have nevertheless crossed over for a run, and the score moving on to 20 at the loss of 2 wickets. So as you were discussing about it, as you were talking about it, a lot of youngsters out there, by virtue of watching those big guns play on on the field, they kind of try to learn a lot, since we do not have much resources here in Kashmir wherein people could actually take advantage of taking training or else guidance from people who are actually the masters of the game. But by virtue of these kind of pages, so I should appreciate JK Sports Time and other people who are into the same kind of business. You really are doing an incredible job by bringing in these live streams to people at their just people can be just sitting back at their homes and enjoying, and simultaneously they can be watching the games as well. And this time around Adil Kachru is after the ball, I believe, and he is an amazing fielder. What piece of fielding, man, what piece of fielding. And that's how you really are able to just get a good grip and a hold on the game there by virtue of good fielding efforts. In the previous over I just witnessed something that was really wonderful to see and watch and to learn as well. See, the batsman, the left-hander, just played the ball, just guided the ball towards the square leg region, as the wicket-keeper was very much aware that the square leg fielder has been sent down to the boundary line itself. So he himself just tried to approach the ball, and he just stopped any chance of the second that there could have been easy 2 runs. But then he was vigilant enough on that, and this time around Asghar comes and bowls to the left-hander, and he comes forward a bit, and that was a no ball. I believe that was a free hit, and that's why the batsman Imtiaz lefty tried to just get into a big hook but couldn't connect yet again. And the bowler itself in itself needs to be really brave enough when it comes to the no balls and all, because that you are going to be hit anywhere around the park, and you really need to be on your senses so as to make sure that you do not give any chances to the batsman of scoring runs yet again in this over. And there is this bounce that we talked about in the previous over. Asif Rasool was bowling. There was this one awkward bounce that we saw, but then this time around Asghar, as he's tall, as I was talking about, say I have this one young man in my team, his name is Wahid, and there are other people too, like he's tall, so at times he bounces the ball and the bounce gets to the batsman onto his chest. And I believe in cricket, you talk about any format, a ball that is bowled at a good length at a good length spot, and then it's rising up to your chest, I believe that is the toughest ball you can ever face, and that's the the worst ball you can get as a batsman.
धन्यवाद गौहर साहब। उस बार अगली गेंद को खेला, हालांकि वहां पर मिस फील्ड और गेंद आ रही है सीमा रेखा की ओर, फील्ड कर लिया, लेकिन तब तक 2 रन और खाते में जोड़ते हुए, और 2 रनों के साथ ही कुल योग बढ़ता है 26 रन 2 विकेट के नुकसान पर 5.5 के बाद। इम्तियाज और आकिब की जोड़ी इस समय बीच मैदान में, और शुरुआती ओवर से ही एक मनोवैज्ञानिक दबाव की स्थिति जो बनी हुई है बल्लेबाजों पर। अगर बात करें यहां से संयम और आत्मविश्वास के साथ बल्लेबाजी करनी होगी, अगर एक बड़े लक्ष्य की ओर अग्रसर होना है, मुकाबला बड़ा महायुद्ध जिसे क्रिकेट की भाषा में कहा जाता है, इस समय बीच मैदान में चलता हुआ। इस ओवर में अगली बार असगर है गेंदबाज, राइट आर्म ओवर द विकेट। यह गेंद तो इस बार थोड़ी सी जगह मिली, खेला जरूर, हालांकि खिलाड़ी ने वहां पर प्रयास किया और असफल, गेंद निकल गई सीमा रेखा से बाहर 4 रनों के लिए। 4 रनों के साथ ही स्कोर बढ़ता हुआ 30, 5 समाप्ति ओवर पूरा हुआ। 6 ओवर की समाप्ति के बाद 30 रन 2 विकेट के नुकसान पर इम्तियाज 15 और आकिब 3 पे नाबाद है। और कहना चाहिए जिस प्रकार से शुरुआती क्षण है, हालांकि अच्छी खासी दर्शकों की संख्या इस मुकाबले का आनंद लेती हुई, और एक बार जेके स्पोर्ट्स टाइम के सभी व्यूअर्स का हार्दिक अभिनंदन करना चाहेंगे, जिस प्रकार से अपना प्यार और विचार लगातार हमारे साथ बने हुए, और इसी प्रकार से अपना प्यार और विचार देते रहिए। और सीधा प्रसारण जेके स्पोर्ट्स टाइम के माध्यम से आप तक पहुंचता हुआ निर्णायक और महत्वपूर्ण मुकाबला इस समय बीच बीच मैदान में शालबुग सुपर लीग वर्ष 2022 के अंतर्गत।
Well, the power play is done and dusted. It's 30 for the loss of 2. We are going to be in over number 7. But this has really been amazing cricket from both the teams. But right on top, you must give credit to the bowling side where they bowl. They tie to the nose of the batters. But yeah, we saw in the 6 over runs coming with a great ease. But barring that over, they have really been on money, on target, not giving an inch away. But at the moment it's 30 for 2. We are going to be in over number 7. Nice build up for this all important grand finale of Merajuddin, Nawab, Fayaz and Arif Mushtaq. All the beloved viewers, thank you for joining us. And you can send us the digital token and coupon of love. We are digital stars. We are eagerly waiting. We are waiting with the ravish feasting, guys, I should say. It is 30 for the loss of 2. We are going to be in over number 7. And I think so Asghar is going to operate. Is he Asghar? Well, I don't think so. We'll have to wait and watch who's going to bowl. It is Bilal is going to operate for the first time. Another change in the bowling department.
See, look, talking about the innings as they have gone, we are at the end of the power play. 6 overs have been bowled, 30 for 2, but Enterprises couldn't do much damage to the other team in the first 6 overs. But let me tell you something really important, whenever to understand here in the, if you talk about the perspective to be understood about the game. Imtiaz lefty, has been playing. He has been there in the middle, has scored 15 runs of 17 balls, and that's understandably so. When you lose 2 early wickets in the innings, and you really need to capitalize upon one particular loose delivery that's bowled by the bowler there. And here again, Adil Kachru after the ball, and there could have been a possibility of 2, and the batsmen are quick enough onto their feet, and they have really done well at this very particular occasion, because Adil Kachru was firing onto the ball there, but then it was a bit far from him, so he had to cover a long distance, then gather the ball and throw it back to the wicket-keeper. I was talking about the batting unit. See, talking about Bird Enterprises, they have lost 2 early wickets in this innings. One more time in this over, Bilal comes and bowls, and the batsman, that is a big appeal, and Advocate Hilal says no, we'll have to wait for the signal as what does it come from the umpire, in which form does it come, and I am not really sure that what communication has happened between the bowler and the starting umpire there, and I believe that he is showing that it was way too a bit up when it comes to the height of the wickets. That is what I got from the gestures that the umpire has just made. Alright then. So I believe, see, Imtiaz lefty has been playing his role out there in the middle. So this is what he needs to do, because he has lost 2 early wickets for his team. So he is doing great. But on the other hand, if you look at Aqib, he has been there in the middle. He has played 10 legitimate deliveries, and he has played 11 deliveries. He has just been able to score 5 runs. So on one end, if Aqib is going so slow at his scoring pace, on the other hand, Imtiaz lefty is very much aware about the fact that the power will play is already done and dusted. So does it create a negative impact on the mentality of the other batsman as well? Look, Imtiaz has just placed himself into the innings. Now he would definitely go after the bowling, because he'll certainly have those balls to be played upon and to be capitalized upon. But then is it really important for the other batsman as well to just at me score a ball a run? No, don't get that innings to go duller and duller with every passing time, because it builds a lot of pressure onto the other batsman as well. Then it really becomes very difficult. See, somebody who has just played 17 balls and has scored 15 runs, that itself indicates that this gentleman has been very much cautious in the middle out there. That would be definitely signaled as a wide. Yes, I believe now the ball is not moving much. The batsman can really hit through the line, and this time around the batsman kind of tried to just play a hook shot over that mid-on region, and that was, I believe, as far as I have an understanding of cricket, that was a wrong shot to be played onto this delivery. He could have at ease guided the ball, and I believe there is a third man that has been kept for the batsman there. One more time in this over, Bilal comes and bowls, and the batsman, this is what I was talking about. If you've got a ball that is pitched a bit short of a good length, and then you really have just one good chance, that is you guide the ball towards the third man region. So by virtue of doing that, it can go finer. At times you can actually be awarded by a boundary as well. But then as far as this innings has gone, I believe it's 34 at the loss of 2 wickets, and we are into the over number 7. A lot of people have joined us and they are sending their love, but Farooq, Arif, be you bro, thank you so much, may Allah bless you all. And in fact, I'm glad that at times those sort of they make your day, standing in this blazing heat. Then finally get a comment. This brother is watching us. In fact, it really.
Well, exactly. It's a kind of Shining Star Pampur, MHM and Fashion Feasta. And somebody writes a network problem, but I think we have been able to redress the grievances in time. Manzoor Sultan and Malik Zulfi. Score is 36 with a loss of 2 after 7 overs. Well, Aqib is on 7 and Imtiaz left is unbeaten on 16 of 18 balls. Well, Gorsa was talking about that one has to play the second fiddle and other one has to announce himself, as this is start going off to the bowlers. You can't afford too many dot deliveries. You can't afford chewing the balls like that. You have to make sure that you are in with a chance, and you have to make sure that you're gonna go up to the bowlers. In this all important grand finale of Shalbugh Super League 2022.
Talked about something that's really important to understand. See, I said, like, when we get to the final games of any big tournaments, then we very quite often we come across games which are low scoring ones. Aqib Mir, for the first time, he has been introduced to the attack. The ball keeping low, I believe there is some problem with that good length area. So when the spinners come into play, see, we saw that one ball that we talked about from Asif Rasool that really kicked onto the batsman, and this one kept quite low. Aqib Mir for the second time in this over, and the batsman playing back to the bowler, and Aqib Mir very much vigilant, fields the ball, and there has been no addition to the score. 36 at a loss of 2 wickets, 7 overs and 2 balls have been bowled so far. Aqib Mir very quick through his overs like Shahid Afridi of Pakistan, and the batsman at this point of time playing towards that short spell region. A fielder has been placed there, so it is a no ball signalled by the umpire there. Faizan is the standing umpire right now, along with Advocate Hilal, who's standing at the square leg region, square leg umpire. So Aqib Mir, and now it will be a free hit. Maybe this will suit our eyes. We haven't been able to see any big shots coming from the batsman. This is something that you always expect from the batsman in a T20 game. This time around, Aqib comes and the batsman, tries to play, but yet again, Munawar, I'm not that happy with the shots that the batsmen have played. Yeah, it's all right that you've got a free hit, but even then you have to play a cricketing shot. That was bowled onto that fourth and the fifth stump. It was a shot of a good length. This delivery, the batsman could have actually. There is a huge gap that we can see between off and the deep extra cover fielder. So the batsman there had a very fair chance of just lofting the ball. In the process, had he just handed over a catch to that fielder out there who is standing at the cover region for the left-handed batsman, that could have been all right, because it was a free hit already. And once again, Aqib Mir and the batsman very vigilant, tried to get the ball, but then the man standing at the slip, who held an amazing catch.
So you mean he should have tried on that occasion, because there was nothing to lose, and he should have tried on that occasion.
That is what my point is. In fact, you need to just play through the lineup. That is the basic of cricket. As a batsman, you need to learn. See, this kind of a shot is something that really makes your mood up. This is a shot that I've seen ever since this innings has started. This is the kind of shot that batsmen play. All right. Oh, that's again incredible fielding down there by the fielder standing at the long on region. So far, the story of the match goes like this: 39 at the loss of 2 wickets, and the 2 wickets that Bird, Enterprises have lost were lost way too early in the innings. In fact, they had the first wicket down in the very first over of Asif Rasool, and that was an incredible delivery. But then, that's a shot played, and I believe now this time around it will surely and certainly go beyond the boundary line for a huge 6. That is what I was talking about. Now Imtiaz lefty has started playing his shots, and this was a delivery pitched around that middle and off stump, and it was an over pitched delivery, and this time just putting his one leg down and very much vigilant, and his eyes very much onto the ball there, playing a shot that is a beauty, that has just danced over the square leg fence for 6 runs. Alright, so with that 6 beautiful shot, the score moves on to 45 at the loss of 2 wickets. And generally in T20 games, when you are into that 9th over, the score generally is has to stay around maybe 60 odd and 70, and maybe at times it goes beyond 80 as well, because the cricket has really picked up pace in the recent past. Right, ever since the advent of games like tournaments like PPL, and then different leagues that have been played all across the globe. So this cricket, this game of cricket has really picked pace, and you see nowadays, all these youngsters, it's a treat to watch them play. Yet again, Bilal once more in the second over. Okay, but there is no fielder out there. That's quite safe, and the batsman was, I believe, aware about it. That's why it was played with soft hands, and the batsman didn't hook the ball, didn't try to just pull the ball completely, knowing the fact that there was this fielder standing at the square leg region, that could have been an easy catch, maybe had the batsman not been able to just time that shot well.
Well, I really admire your words and your observation that from this video, from 7th over onwards, they need to keep wickets intact till the 15th over, and after that they can give the license to their middle and down the order batters to go for the hammer and tongue, and at that very moment he keeps that one down towards the backward point, rather I should say he dabs that one in front of backward point. No run there. It's 46 for 2, 4 short of team 50. We are in over number 9, and Nazir come in, and eager people definitely love your voice too. They too want to listen in Hindi, and I would definitely love to hand over my microphone to my colleague, and so that people can listen in Hindi vibes.
धन्यवाद मुनव्वर और गौहर साहब हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, और इस बार इस गेंद को खेला जरूर वहां पे बने और रनों के साथ ही जी बिल्कुल आदिल रेशी इस मुकाबले में नहीं खेल रहे हैं, हालांकि आदिल काचरो, वसीम काचरो और उसके बाद आदिल वाटर, आसिफ रसूल, आकिब मीर, ये कुछ दिग्गज बल्लेबाज हैं जो दोनों ओर से हमें आज देखने को मिलेंगे, चाहे वो अलीजाना क्रिकेट क्लब हो या बोर्ड्स एंटरप्राइज की टीम हो। फाइनल मुकाबला इस समय बीच मैदान में चलता हुआ 48 पे 2, 8.3 के बाद, और गेंदबाजी का दायित्व इस समय बिलाल के पास। सामने ओवर द विकेट उनकी ये गेंद, और बार अच्छी गेंद संप्राप्ति हल्के से उसको प्लेस जरूर किया वहां पर खिलाड़ी तैनात, और उन्होंने गेंद को फील्ड किया बगैर किसी रन के। लगातार इस समय हालांकि प्रयास जरूर किया जाए दोनों बल्लेबाजों द्वारा, चाहे वो इम्तियाज लेफ्टी हो या फिर आकिब की जोड़ी, ये जो मान्यता प्राप्त जोड़ी इस समय बीच मैदान में बनी हुई, प्रयास जरूर कर रहे हैं। मुकाबला बड़ा है और ऐसे में दोनों इन परिस्थितियों को जानते हैं कि किस प्रकार से यहां से बल्लेबाजी करने, एक लक्ष्य देना होगा इस फाइनल निर्णायक मुकाबले में। इस ओवर में अगली बार सामने वाले छोर से ये सीधा बॉलर्स बैक जिसे कहा जाता है, हालांकि वहां पर फील्ड कर लिया, अच्छी फील्डिंग, जितनी भी प्रशंसा की जाए उतने कम, और साथ ही खिलाड़ियों ने दाद दी। 1 रन और रनों की गति में विरोध होता हुआ, और कुल जो 8.5 के बाद 9 ओवर इसमें प्रगति पर है। और जिस प्रकार हालांकि अगर इस स्टेडियम के चारों ओर नजर दौड़ाएं तो दर्शक से खचाखच ये मुकाबला, इस मुकाबले का आनंद लेते हुए इस ओवर में अगली बार, इस बार लेग स्टंप पर दिशाहीन गेंद, हालांकि बल्ला जरूर चलाया था, वहां पे सफलता नहीं मिली। गेंद सीधे विराम करते विकेट कीपर के दस्ताने में, अंपायर का इशारा वाइड बॉल का अतिरिक्त के साथ ही स्कोर बढ़ता हुआ 50 रन पूरे हो गए हैं 58.5 के बाद। और अगर वर्तमान रन गति की बात करें तो 5.55, और जिस प्रकार से शुरुआत हो चली है, जिस प्रकार से बल्लेबाजी हो रही है, कहना चाहिए एक विशाल और विश्वसनीय साझेदारी की आवश्यकता है। गौहर साहब।
Yes, that's very much correct, and that's absolutely right. The batsman has played an amazing shot, and the ball has danced over the boundary line fence, and we'll have to wait for the signal that comes from the umpire. It's a 4. So by virtue of hitting that wonderful boundary, Team Bird Enterprises have finally just made the first, they had already crossed over the score of 50. They've gone on to 54 at the loss of 2 wickets, and we are into the 10th over, I believe. No, at the completion of 9 overs, the score is 54 at the loss of 2 wickets. A lot of people have been sending comments. Thank you so much. Walaikum assalam, Tahir Ganai, Sajjad Alai, Vinod Garwal, okay, Shari Khan, Adil Bowder hai kya? Yes, Adil is playing, and then he has actually lost his wicket in the very first over for the score of 4 runs only. So there's something, it's kind of a bad news for you, but then he is still there in the game, so he'll have to just come to the middle and field, and maybe he might bowl as well in this very final game of the tournament. It was a league of 20 teams played here, and all the big names of this place, if you talk about Kashmir, they were all a part of the matches that were played at this beautiful ground of Shalbugh, Ganderbal. Akib Mir for the second time, he has been brought into the attack and bowls to the batsman. What I have liked about this one particular bowler is that the length has been spot on, and he has not really given much room to the batsman so that they can actually play big shots over upon his bowling. So the second time in this over, and the batsman tried to yet again, I was just mentioning the same, this was again a kind of a wrong shot played. If the ball is around that 5th and 6th stump, alright, then you really need to play your shots to through that cover region, maybe the offside region that you have available. Alright, then if you really try to hook the ball over that long on region, or at times you just tend to just log the ball over the square leg region, that could happen a catch, but then the ball didn't carry to the bowler there. Akib Mir is doing an incredible job. We have seen the spin department opening the proceedings for AliJana Cricket Club, and in fact in the very first over, Asif Rasul was the man who took that Adil's wicket, I believe. And this yet again in this, this time the fieldsman standing there at the square leg region signaling to the umpires, and I believe it's a wicket. He was very way within the boundary line. He's signaling something to his fellow fieldsman as there is some communication happening, and by
Well, don't you think that Adil Apti thrown his wicket away because he was unable to get things back on track, he was unable to rotate the strike, he was unable to knock the ball in the gaps.
See, my point again stands valid. See, I've told you previously as well, Munawar. See, the other batsman standing at the middle. Aqib hasn't been able to do anything much, and that is what builds a lot of pressure on the other batsman, even if he had just placed himself into the game. But even then, the other batsman needs to just play the ball around, and at least he can go for singles. A bowler run is something that is definitely to be there on your name if you are playing as a batsman in the team. So if it's not happening, the other batsman, whichever efforts would the other batsman try to make, those will all go into vain. See, this was an easy looking shot, and at some point of time I felt like it's going to go way beyond the boundary line. That might be a 6, and the batsman, I'm very sure Imtiaz lefty, would be really just cursing himself for this very particular shot, because it was a well played shot. Now this is what happens. It was not a bad shot, it was not a half-hearted shot, it was a shot taking complete responsibility of the shot, and the batsman tried to play Imtiaz lefty. But then why didn't he just manage to just put it over the boundary line, and why did he just hand over a simple catch to the fieldsman standing at the square boundary? It is pressure that has been building ever since the 2 wickets that are down for Bird Enterprises have gone back to the dugout. See, Aqib hasn't been able to do much in the field. It's not just that you stand, it's a T20 game. You have just 120 legitimate legal deliveries, and whatever you need to do is to be done in those 120 deliveries. Alright, so maybe there is this one odd wide or something, a no ball you bowl, but legitimate legal deliveries are just 120. And if you are already into the 10th over in the innings, and there are people sitting in the dugout who can really play big shots, then you really at times feel like it's better that I give it a shot, let me see what happens. Alright, so as a batsman, what my point at the final this is that as a batsman, you kind of lose that confidence and surety that I can actually play this shot, and it will be a good touch, and I'll have a chance of scoring runs over that shot. That is what has just happened. Imtiaz lefty has lost his wicket, I believe not because of his mistake. It is just because Aqib has not been doing well at the other end. What are your comments?
It means it takes tremendous character to play. It takes dedication, it takes caliber and class, and that too is lacking from the Team Bird Enterprise. They have to make sure that they will entertain all the beloved viewers of JK Sports Time and those who are physically available around the park watching and covering this very match.
Yes, that's definitely true. See, when you look at the crowd around this place, I believe this is amazing. When you see games, a couple of days ago there was this game, JKCA. There was this final match of the talent hunt thing happening. People had thronged that place. A lot of, in fact, I believe that you two were present there, along with your other fellow commentator. If you're not, then you might have seen the visuals right from the place, and it was incredible. And let me talk about something that's really important to talk about. We have been very famous for so many things when it comes to being a Kashmiri, but in the recent past we have lost that charm, as we have this is really unfortunate that I'm talking about this thing, that this drug menace has eaten away the young generation of this place, and sports is some kind of a medicine that can be given to the youngsters,
exactly.
By virtue of which they can actually get onto a positive track if at all they are into something negative. So this cricket thing has picked to such a great extent, in fact giving due regards and respect to other games as well, and this time around the batsman, yet again, this is what happens where you are in pressure. You understand that? So the batsman who has walked into the middle is Zahid, and people around this place, when I talked to them before this commentary session, they really had they really were appreciate how does he just managed to score runs off the bowling. And believe me guys, this AliJana Cricket Club, the way this captaincy thing has happened, I haven't seen people just shouting around. I haven't seen any misfields so far. I have seen wonderful catches taken by the fieldsmen. I have seen the bowlers quiet and calm and doing their job, knowing everything they are doing, knowing everything that's happening around the park, right? That's something that makes a team incredible. See, it's a team effort. A cricket match is played by 22 players, 11 players on either of the sides, alright? So it's really very important that all you 11 who are playing in the fielding side or either on the batting side, all you playing 11 for that very particular match have to have your mind onto those between those, I would say, 22 yards, you understand it, and the field around it. So in fact, incredibly done by AliJana Sports Cricket Club, giving nothing to the batsman. 54 at the loss of 3 wickets, and just in the previous over they have lost the wicket, a precious one I must say, because Imtiaz lefty was the guy who came very early in the innings and then tried to just settle down into the middle, and finally he was able to settle down for some time. And I believe Aqib wasn't able to do much, as he is still there in the middle. He has just scored 13 runs off 17 balls that he has faced, and that builds a lot of pressure onto the other batsman. So now we have a bowling change. And the batsman yet again playing a shot, and believe me, I'm yet again not very happy with that shot. What do you say, Munawar, about it?
Well, once again, not getting to the pitch of the ball, nothing short of dinner, right? Nearly. I was on my toes to throw it out that. It nearly dragged on, but luckily the ball off the inner edge, ricocheting down towards the Scalag area, picking up another single, and that single takes the score to 54 for 3. We are in over number 11 of the match, Nazir Bird Enterprise. Everyone believed that they will be going all guns blazing, but they are reeling under the serious hammer and pressure.
जी बिल्कुल, जिस प्रकार से शुरुआत उनकी खराब रही है, खराब प्रदर्शन आज तक रहा है। अगर हम इस मुकाबले की बात करें, 54 पे 3 विकेट गंवा दिए हैं, 10.1 के बाद दौर कहना चाहिए। यहाँ से आत्मविश्वास के साथ बल्लेबाजी करनी होगी। अगली गेंद को खेला जरूर, 1 रन पूरा कर रहे हैं और 1 रन से संतोष, दोनों बल्लेबाज 1 रन के साथ स्कोर बढ़ता हो 55। और यहाँ से अगर हम बात करें अलीजाना क्रिकेट क्लब की, प्रशंसा करनी होगी क्षेत्ररक्षकों की और गेंदबाजों की। जिस प्रकार से आज गेंदबाजी हुई है दोनों छोर से, कहना चाहिए आकर्षक, न तुली गेंदबाजी और पूरी तरह से मनोवैज्ञानिक दबाव की स्थिति समय बनी हुई दोनों बल्लेबाजों पर। और यहां से हालांकि कोशिश जरूर कर रहे हैं, लेकिन आत्मविश्वास के साथ, संयम के साथ बल्लेबाजी करनी होगी। अंत तक गेंद की लाइन को देखना होगा और उसके बाद स्ट्रोक्स लेने होगा। अच्छी गेंद इस बार ऑफ स्टंप पर अंतिम समय में सिर्फ टकराने पर दिया बल्ले से, और जब तक फील्ड होती 1 रन और अच्छी रणनीति। इस समय स्कोरबोर्ड को गतिशील रखना होगा और स्ट्राइक रोटेट रखनी होगी यदि इस मनोवैज्ञानिक दबाव की स्थिति से बाहर निकलना चाहते हैं दोनों बल्लेबाज। 56 पे 3, 11.3 के बाद बहुत ही आकर्षक मुकाबला इस समय बीच मैदान में चलता हुआ और 56 रन बना लिए हैं 3 विकेट के नुकसान पर। और हमारे साथ अगर व्यूअर्स की बात करें, लगातार जुड़े हुए जेके स्पोर्ट्स टाइम के माध्यम से, और जिस प्रकार से अपना प्यार और विचार देते हुए और इस मुकाबले का आनंद लेते हुए, अच्छी गेंद सीधे बिल स्टंप पे आती हुई और सीधे बल्ले से खेला जरूर, 1 रन पूरा कर रहे हैं वहां पर दोनों बल्लेबाज। और संभवतः जब तक फील्ड होती 1 रन और खाते में जुड़ता हुआ 57 हो गया है।
Best thing about this man, the lefty Zaida, who just whacked in, and on both the occasions you might observe that he's playing he's bringing bat and pad close together, then offering the shot. That's a great thing from this very young fella.
Yes, see, this is what I was talking about. In fact, Zahid has walked into the middle, and he has actually, 3 balls have been bowled in this over. For the 4th time in this over, Ishfaq comes and bowls, and the batsman yet again onto his toes, plays the ball towards that deep square leg region, and the batsman have crossed over for a single. See, this is what I was talking about basically. The batsman who has just walked in. See, 4 balls off the over, 4 singles have been scored, and that's something that really becomes frustrating for the fielding team. We have seen Akib, Mir, bowling amazing. That was incredible job done bowling those spin overs. Then is Asif Rasool, who started the proceedings for AliJana Cricket Club, and yet again Ishfaq, bowling a very nice line and length. That's something that's incredible from any pacer, and that's yet again played very well. 5 balls have been bowled in this over so far. 5 singles have been scored, and that is what loosens you up. That is what lessens the pressure that's been already built on the batsman there. So this is how, when there are 2 batsmen in the middle, one who actually is very good, is able to just time the ball and guide the ball and understand the line and the length of the ball, is able to negotiate. That batsman in itself becomes a great support for this other batsman to actually make sure that he plays good shots. That is what was not happening previously. We could see a couple of wrong shots played in the over, then the batsman would generally play wrong shots, and by virtue of which they would not get any runs scored. Alright, now in this over we have got this is the best example of a good sense of batting. Zaid has walked in. Alongside him is Akib, who's already been there at the crease for some time. Now he's scored, I guess, 15 runs. He has scored 16 runs, I beg your pardon, for 21 deliveries. But now Zaid is really making him play. Akib, once again, and that was again a wrong shot played. And this is something that's really irritating me. Those batsmen, in fact, if you have such big name, you really need to be up to the name, man. There are a lot of people who take you as an inspiration. They really, learn a lot of things. As I was talking about it, ever since the advent of those pages, people like you have been, putting their, making their effort and playing their part into making people visualize and understand this game of cricket. That is commendable. But then there are a lot of youngsters who tend to just learn from the shots which are played by people like, all those players that we have got into this final match today, this afternoon. Akib Mead once again, and balls, and the batsman, just making some room for himself, and this time around he plays a wonderful shot, and the ball has been gathered by the fielder at long of region, and the batsman have crossed over for a single again. Yeah, I believe you all are enjoying with us. In fact, all those people, Sang Sharma, Sang Muhammad, Ramiz Kanai, Ramiz Khan, Jahanshir and Psycho Mind, yet again played by the batsman, and there is a fielder kept down there at the fine leg reach, and no, I believe that will be just a single, but the batsman, oh, that's good running. That's definitely something that you can do, and by virtue of doing that, you can actually put a lot of pressure onto the fielding side. Look, I was talking about this. There was no communication between the fielders, the captain, nothing was happening. Now you see, the batsmen have started taking those singles, easy singles. Now there is a lot of communication happening. You understand that? And at this very particular occasion, we just saw the ball was guided. Okay, this time around, the batsman tried to just play. He had to be very cautious there because it was way off, down that, not down, it was way, far off that off stump. And the batsman really tried to play, tried to play through that mid-wicket region or long-on region for that sake maybe. One more time, Mir in this over. Let's see, he bowls and bowls well, and the batsman playing a good shot, and the fielder will be able to just stop the ball, and he has actually done well, and the umpires will have to have a look at that. I believe it's clean. I believe he has just certainly and surely saved 2 runs for his team. That wasn't that easy because this outfield, when you play a shot and it comes from the neat of the bat, it comes from the middle of the bat, then it becomes really at almost close to impossible to stop that ball. Because previously I've also been a part of the team which played a game here. I have my own cricket team, and that will run away, and that will go beyond the boundary line fence for a 4. And now things have started, happening. Things have started happening. A lot of music is, being played around the park, because runs have been scored by the batsmen. Now things, ever since Zahid has walked into the middle, he has really, made things happen for his team. And they'll be certainly happy with something in hand at least. A bird in a hand is better than thousands in a bush. So they have 69 on the board at the loss of 3 wickets, and we are already through 12 overs of this game. And Mir has taken 1 wicket, and he has, just spent 19 runs off his bowling, and the batsmen are down onto their knees. They'll be definitely quite exhausted. It's drinks time, I believe, for some time. In the meanwhile, I'd like to have your comments. The big names that we have for today's match is Asif Rasool itself, who is the brother of the legendary Parvez Rasool, and we are glad and proud enough that he certainly belongs to the place that we belong to. We should be really proud and happy, all right? And then we have Mir, who was just bowling and has bowled incredibly well in this match. Then we have Zahid is very much there. Then Adil we had, who is already gone. I believe the alias is Border. So he has already lost his wicket by just scoring 4 runs and adding 4 runs to his team's total. And then we have Adil Kachiru. It is huge. It's not a big name. It's a huge name, I believe, because this gentleman, it's a treat to eyes when he plays, and he plays incredible cricket shots. And I believe a lot of people out there will be certainly waiting for that moment to come, and Adil Kachiru will walk into the middle. But that all will make quite good sense if there is a good total put on the board by this other team. And the way things have gone, I believe if Zahid stays at the crease and now Aqib, if he starts playing his shots, we will definitely be able to get some score up. So if they are able to, what is your prediction about the score that will be scored by Bird Enterprises? Let me make my prediction first. So we'll have a game of say 140. I believe 140 will be something that will be put as a target to the other team. What is your this prediction about it?
Well, round 140 or 150, they will be eyeing at getting 150 or 140. But at this very crucial juncture, that doesn't seem to be coming the way they're batting. But thanks to Zaidar, he just come in and has started gearing up a bit and is knocking the balls in the gaps, and that one up the inner edge down towards the Scarag will get a single, and that's all he will get out of it. 70 for 3. We are in over number 13 of the match. Well, this broadcast is brought to you by Arco Fenestration, Anthem Supports India, Fashion Feast, the Shining Star Papur, an MHM multi-fashion branded store. Bird Enterprise won the toss, and their captain elected to bat first. They are 70 for 3. They lost wicket above the border at the start of the innings, and that dented their confidence to larger extent. They are 70 for the loss of 3. The other side, there we got Asif Rasool in their lineup. There we got Adil Kachiru is playing in that very squad, and Mir, the another Mr. Consistent from South Kashmir, is playing in that very side.
अगली गेंद रडार में मिली, उठा दिया उसको सीमा रेखा से बाहर, अंपायर के इशारे की प्रतीक्षा। जी हां, 4 रनों का इशारा स्वागत किया इस चौके के साथ। स्कोर बढ़ता हुआ 74। 3 विकेट के नुकसान पर 12.2 के बाद वर्धमान 0-0। और जिस प्रकार से लगातार हमारे व्यूअर्स हमारे साथ बने हुए इस आकर्षक रोमांचक मुकाबले का आनंद लेते हुए, अगली गेंद हालांकि इसको खेला वही, पास में लुढ़की बगैर किसी रन के, और लगातार कहना चाहिए एक मैदान में चलता हुआ शालबुग सुपर लीग वर्ष 2022 के अंतर्गत ये फाइनल मुकाबला, और इस ऐतिहासिक खूबसूरत मैदान में भिड़ंत होती के विरुद्ध आकर्षक मुकाबला, अच्छी खासी इस मैदान के क्रिकेट के समर्थक और दीवाने इस मुकाबले का आनंद लेते हुए इस ओवर में अगली बार बाएं हाथ के बल्लेबाज के लिए गेंद हवा में, नीचे खिलाड़ी, जी हां कोई गलती नहीं की और विकेट गिरता हुआ.
Commentators curse Gavasav, I should say, and I was just praising this man has been sent to packing, well held by the fielder there at Gully, and there goes Zaidar without bothering the scorers and even the commentators here in the comm box, and even the bowling side has been sent packing. It is 7 the last of 4. We are in over number 13 of the match, and Nazir once again, Bird Enterprise losing their way, and they have to make sure that they're in with a chance, and they need a partnership badly at this crucial juncture. The new man who's just walking into the middle, he has to make sure that he joins his counterpart in the middle, and he must be carrying cool head on his shoulders. And it is 74 after 12.4 balls. Well, team AliJana Cricket Club is in a hurdle, and pep talk is going on how to bowl to the newcomer who just arrived at the crease, and what kind of a ploy they will be using against this man. Let's wait and watch, and found alongside us on JK Sports Time 74 after 12.4 balls.
74 पे 4, 12.4 के बाद, और मैं आपकी बात से 100% सहमत हूं गौहर साहब. जिस प्रकार से इस समय उत्साह से लबरेज सभी AliJana क्रिकेट क्लब के क्षेत्र रक्षण, और क्यों न हो जिस प्रकार से शुरुआती ओवर्स में ही 12.4 ओवर में मात्र 74 रन बने हैं और 4 विकेट खो दिया है. और आप जिस प्रकार से गतिविधियां चल रही हैं, मैं समझता हूं एक मनोवैज्ञानिक दबाव की स्थिति शुरुआत से ही जिस प्रकार से आदिल बॉर्डर को उन्होंने चलता किया था, और वहां से जिस प्रकार से एक दबाव बना है, अब तक उससे बाहर निकलने की कोशिश जरूर की जा रही है, प्रयास लगाए जा रहे हैं, लेकिन अभी तक सफल नहीं हो पाई है टीम बर्ड्स एंटरप्राइजेज की. आकर्षक रोमांचक स्थिति बने रहिए जेके स्पोर्ट्स टाइम के माध्यम से, और आनंद लीजिए इस क्रिकेट के महायुद्ध का. बीच मैदान में चलता हुआ आसिफ रसूल के हाथ में है गेंद. फील्ड में थोड़ा सा परिवर्तन करते हैं, और कहना चाहिए कि दर्शक क्रिकेट के दीवाने और प्रेमी इस मुकाबले का आनंद लेते हैं. बड़ा मुकाबला शालबुग सुपर लीग वर्ष 2022 के अंतर्गत. आसिफ रसूल, ये गेंद और अच्छी गेंद ऑफ स्टंप पर, हालांकि खेला जरूर, लेकिन पीछे खिलाड़ी तैनात था, उन्होंने गेंद को फील्ड किया, रन बनने की किसी भी संभावना को खत्म किया. स्कोर अभी भी टिका 74 पे 4, 12.4 के बाद नवीद और आकिब की जोड़ी बीच मैदान में, और जिस प्रकार से यहां से एक साझेदारी की आवश्यकता, क्या इसमें सक्षम हो पाता अथवा नहीं है. अगली गेंद बेहतरीन गेंद, पूरी तरह से बल्लेबाज को छकाती हुई और विराम करते विकेट कीपर के दस्ताने में. ओवर पूरा हुआ. 13 ओवर की समाप्ति के बाद 74 विकेट के नुकसान पर 7 ओवर का खेल बचा है. किस प्रकार से क्या रणनीति और क्या योजना होगी यहां से बल्लेबाजी की?
I still believe that it's a game that can be still played with the best of the spirits for the game. So Team Bird, see, it's a T20 game, so we are already through 13 overs. There are 7 overs left still in the game, and there are 6 batsmen still staying in the dugout. So they certainly can actually score runs, even now. See, in a T20 game, it can be a situation wherein you lose 2-3 early wickets, and later T20 is a game of one single batsman or one single bowler. I believe if it happens for that very particular gentleman on that very particular day, so there can be this one particular batsman. See, in the previous over, what did you see? It was this new man who has just walked in, Naveed, just facing one ball from Asif Rasool. On the other one, he felt there was a shot to be played, so he kind of just tried to go for it. That is what needs to be the policy. That is what we didn't get to see earlier in the innings. Even if there were loose deliveries bowled by the bowlers, and the batsmen were not really able to take any advantage of those balls. As the outfield that we can just see in front of our eyes, this ground, the ball hasn't been able to do much when it comes to spin, or else if you talk about the pace department, there was this one particular bowler, Askar, who was able to just swing the ball around, but then that happened in the first couple of overs. Later, we didn't see the ball moving much. In fact, Bilal and Ishfaq, they also bowled, the pacers from the team. But we couldn't see much movement happening. And the outfield, we have seen a couple of shots that have been played by the batsman, and the ball really raced outside the boundary line. And there yet again the batsman has played a shot, and you can see the ball is going straight at a pace to the fielder. So the outfield is wonderful. What mistake the batsmen have committed, what mistake they have done is that they have not been really able to just play through the line of the ball. That is the problem. See, at a ground like this, you do not necessarily need to have a lot of energy behind the shot, and that is a shot played by Nadeem I was talking about. He has come with an intention to score some runs for his team. I believe he has been given a license to kill, and that is what he is just doing. But then, even if you have a license in hand, you have been told by your teammates that you just go into the middle and start hitting. It's not that you start hitting on every ball. You really need to understand if that ball is in my zone, if really that is a shot to be played. Otherwise, for nothing you are going to lose your wicket. So yet again we'll have to wait and watch as does he make any difference to the game. Naveed, I believe, and he's a well-built young man. And let's see, Aqib one more time in this over, bowls, and Nadeem watchfully plays there, but then that could have been again a catch, and that could have been an incredible catch by Aqib. Back on his bowling, alright, he tried very hard, tried to reach, but then it was way beyond his reach, and the batsman have crossed over for a single. But Asif Rasool has bowled, I believe, his 10 to 4 overs, and he has just given 16 runs and taken 2 crucial wickets, and one in the first over and the other one just in the previous over that he has just bowled from that far end. In fact, Nazir was talking about it, and he rather asked me a question: what should be the strategy of the batsman out there? I believe there has to be someone like Naveed has already just shown us the signs of he has been sent with a license to kill. There has to be someone. Look, this is the we are almost getting closer to those slog overs that we quite often talk when it comes to T20 cricket. So somebody has to be really there, because Aqib, I believe, is very much tired, and will be very difficult for Aqib to take shots. He has scored I believe some 20 odd runs of 25 deliveries, but then we have just witnessed it all, like Munawar and you and me, that he is not able to play the shots, and that is why this other batsman who has just walked to the crease has to be very sure of just understanding which ball needs to be hit. Otherwise it will be another wicket. Then you won't have that authority to send somebody down and tell him that you go and start playing your shots. That you lose that authority. At some point of time you really have that authority, but the moment you lose a wicket for nothing, then that authority is gone, isn't it, Munawar?
Absolutely right. 82 for 4 after 14 overs. We are going to be in over number 15 of the match. Bilal will operate. He has conceded 15 so far. And thank you Zubair, Maqbool Butt, Mudassir Dar and Arif Sopi. Well, pressure begins with one slip in place. Gully is in play, short cover, and that's in the air, but down towards the extra cover area, gone for runs. We'll have to wait and watch 6 more. Half a dozen that was there to be put away with an offer, and he says thank you very much, packing it to perfection. And another beauty from Nadeem Dar is that he hurled with tremendous sense of urgency, and he slashed hard onto that one and pounced onto that opportunity with both hands, and grabbing that opportunity, taking the tally to 88 for the loss of 4.
In fact, one good thing about this shot is that there's something that I have been, talking about ever since we started the live coverage of this match. See, he has just hit the ball through through that offside channel. He did not just try, he did not try to fetch the ball from that offside channel and just put it across that mid-on region or something. He just played through the line. He played, and in fact a fielder has been kept there. I believe that Bilal is certainly going to bowl the same line again. We'll have to wait and watch, and yet again this time in this over. And this is real good batting from Naveed. This is real good batting, and I believe that's a wrong ball bowled by the bowler there. In fact, he had a fieldsman. He had a fielder placed at the deep point region. But then after you place a fielder at deep point region, that in itself indicates that you are going to bowl that offside channel.
Are they? I think they were looking for this video. Is this the over they were looking for, and they want to shift the momentum their way?
Definitely, it's 92. You're getting close to 100, and you are back into those last 4 slog overs. Anything is possible then on, and that is a slower one, and the batsman has edged the ball to the wicket keeper, the bowler Bilal. Keeping the presence of mind is very important. You talk about any game, be it cricket, be it any game for that sake. Presence of mind. If as a bowler, as a pacer, you have been already hit. You have been already hit for 2 boundaries in this over, and I believe a lot of times those pacers, they get angry, and because of that anger they lose momentum, and they try to really just get into it. They really try to be very pacey, but this time we have seen something different, and it's incredibly well done by the bowler Bilal there. It was a slower delivery, not understood and picked by the batsman. He kind of tried to, he was already in the mood to hit, so he was through the shot way too early, and that was an easy soft catch into the hands of the wicket keeper. So 92 at loss of 5 wickets. 14 overs and 3 balls have been bowled, and yes, Adil Kachru will come into action in the second innings. He's very much there in the ground, and he's playing. If you may see, he might be there in the frame as well as the player. Yeah, he's definitely there in the frame. You can see him. Yeah, the players have gone for a short drink break as the batsman has taken some time to walk into the middle. So 92 at the 15th over in progress. Alongside me, and I would rather like to request all the people out there who are continuously and permanently people who join JK Sports Time. So I would like to rather just kindly keep following and appreciating these young buds who are doing incredible job. In fact, I'm feeling glad enough that I'm sharing the commentary box with these two commentators from JK Sports Time, and I've done a couple of times in the past as well, just with maybe JK Sports Time only, because I'm not a commentator basically. So I'm in match, and I believe that it's been real good time for me. I've enjoyed. And Bilal, one more time in this over, we'll have to see a new batsman onto the crease, and has very watchfully played, and the fielder at short cover fails, and there is no possibility of any run. 92 at the loss of 5 wickets. Alright, and we are in the over number 15. Ishfaq has been sent to the middle. Aqib is very much there. I've been talking about Aqib too much. 20 runs of 25 deliveries, and he has really been there in the middle for a very long time. Down the track goes the batsman and tried to just play a hook shot, but then the ball kept a bit low. So I believe it was not that bad. The intent was right. So I've already just given a prediction. I have said that there will be a score of 140, around that. So that can be plus minus 5 runs. So we'll go close to that 140 run mark. And yet again, Bilal, what an amazing slower delivery.
Well, credit must be given to the bowling side. The way they have dented the and they've been bowling in the right areas. That's an ideal line for the pacerman, but he has been able to vary the pace time and again, and that's the reason they have been able. Mir Hassan and all other beloved viewers are watching. Mir Hassan, the person behind Rahman T20, Gulzar Ahmed, the man behind WPL, and all these beloved viewers are catching us live on JK Sports Time. Well, Nazir, your brief comments. 92 for 5. Half of their team is back into the dugout. Pressure on their nerves. It is the nervy moment for their guys. What's your take on that?
आखिरी 5 ओवर बचे हैं और कहना चाहिए 30 निर्धारित गेंदें बची हैं। 92 पे 5। हालांकि आधी टीम इस समय पवेलियन जा चुकी है और यहां से विकेट्स को भी सुरक्षित रखना होगा और एक बड़े स्कोर की ओर अग्रसर जाना होगा दोनों टीमों को। हालांकि अगर तुलनात्मक तौर पर देखें जिस प्रकार से बोर्ड इंटरप्राइजेस हालांकि बल्लेबाजी कर रही है और अली जाना के पास एक से बढ़कर एक दिग्गज बल्लेबाज, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं ध्यान में रखना होगा। और जैसा कि हमारे साथी इंग्लिश कमेंटेटर, हमारे चहेते कमेंटेटर गौर साहब ने बताया कि 140 से 150 के आसपास लक्ष्य होना चाहिए। एक बड़ा मुकाबला है, कांटे की टक्कर होनी है और ऐसे में यहां से आवश्यकता है कि बड़े स्कोर तक जाए। अगली गेंद को खेला, गेंद है हवा में, नीचे खिलाड़ी लेकिन नो मैंस लैंड में गिरती हुई जब तक उसको फीड किया जाता। संभवतः दूसरा रन भी पूरा कर लिया। अच्छी दौड़ विकेट के बीच में तालमेल का परिचय देते हुए दोनों बल्लेबाज और जितनी भी प्रशंसा की जाए उतनी कम। 2 रन और खाते में जुड़ते 94। 5 विकेट के नुकसान पर 15.1 के बाद आकर्षक मुकाबला और कहीं ना कहीं कहना चाहिए अंत तक खेलना होगा इन दोनों बल्लेबाजों को। और कहीं ना कहीं जिस प्रकार से लगातार हम इस मुकाबले में इस मुकाबले पे टिप्पणी करते हुए कि कहीं ना कहीं गेंद की लाइन में आकर गेंद की मेरिट के हिसाब से खेलना होगा और खराब गेंदों को सही नसीहत देनी होगी और अच्छी गेंदों का सम्मान रखना होगा। स्कोर बोर्ड को भी गतिशील रखना होगा, तब चलते 140-150 तक पहुंच सकते हैं। इस बार ढोल नगाड़ों की आवाजें आप तक पहुंचती हुई और इस बात का श्रेय जाता हुआ कि एक संघर्षपूर्ण मुकाबला बीच मैदान में फाइनल वर्ष 2022 का ये शालबुग सुपर लीग के अंतर्गत। गौहर साहब,
So 90, I believe that should be oh yeah, that's 94 for 5. At loss of 5 wickets, half the team is already back into the dugout. So we are into the 16th over. Aqib is very much there at the middle, and he is in fact facing the bowler right now. We'll have to wait and watch, and as if there is any chance for Aqib to score some runs and finally spend a lot of time there in the middle, and he'll be tired too, and that's something that I'm very sure of. Adil Kachu onto the ball there, stopping any possibility of the second run to be taken by the batsman over there, and they've just crossed over for a single. The score moving on to 95 at the loss of 5 wickets. 15.3 overs have been bowled. Aqib has been down there in the middle. He has scored 23 runs of 28 balls. Ishfaq is the new man in. He has faced 3 balls, hasn't been able to just make any connection between the ball and the bat. And now the actual this tug of war between the leather and the willow starts when it gets to the slog overs, and I'm very sure that this gentleman Ishfaq has been sent with the same intention to the middle, and he plays and plays into the gap, but then the shot isn't that quick enough to cross over to the boundary, and the batsmen have come back again for a couple of runs, and the umpire says there was an appeal made for the run out thing, and the umpire has just denied of the run out there. The bowler Ishfaq has really impressed with his bowling, has just given away 10 runs and has not been able to pick any wicket, but then it's equally important if you really can just keep a tight grip on the batsman and you do not give them any loose deliveries to score runs upon. It's equally important even if you are not able to get wickets, and that's guided towards the third man range, and the fielder has been kept there, and the batsman will certainly cross for a single, and they've done it, and by virtue of that one run the score moves on to 98 at the loss of 5 wickets. So I'm here doing the commentary session at JK Sports Time, and I believe all you guys who have joined us are incredible, this incredible audience to us all. And in fact, I was talking about it, like all these youngsters like Mr. Munawwar and Mr. Nazir, they are putting their effort, they are actually playing their bit. That could be again a wicket, but the fielder after the ball, and he has actually done incredibly well by stopping the ball off rush, running over to the boundary line. And the batsmen have just crossed over for a couple of runs only. That could have been a possible boundary. Basically, it was way above the head of that fielder there. He really tried very hard, and that was incredible fielding. He certainly stopped the ball of going over the boundary line fence for a 4. The batsmen have crossed over for a couple of runs, and the score moves on to 100 at the loss of 5 wickets. 16 overs have been bowled. Ishfaq has just bowled his 3rd over, and then the 2 batsmen that we have in the middle are Aqib and Ishfaq. Now the slog overs that we generally just keep an eye upon. The final 4 overs, 5 people still to come to bat, 2 in the middle, and later we'll have 3-4 more to come from the dugout. All right, so the score is now 100 at the loss of 5 wickets, and as I had given this prediction earlier, this while going through the commentary session, and I told you that they'll get closer to that 140 mark, and that was something that I could just smell and understand. Now, what do you predict when you already have the stats in your hand? That is an amazing shot that you could see. In fact, it's just a shot played for a single only, because it is real commendable from that fielder around that mid-on region. He was real quick to cover that distance and then field that ball and throw it back to the bowler. The batsmen have crossed for a single only. 101 at the loss of 5 wickets. We are into the 17th over. Over to you, Munawwar.
Second ball, once again change of pace, and batsman wanted to heave that one all the way down to the boundary. Doesn't succeed, a dot delivery, and we are in over number 17 of the match. 2 balls sent down by Bilal, and he's going to bowl the next one. 101 for 5, over number 17 in progress. Huge crowd around the park. Nice build up for this all important cricket match. This is the grand finale of Shalbugh Super League year 2022. 3rd ball coming up. Bowls outside the off stump. Off to backward, down towards the short extra cover. Asif Rasool, the man, does the mop up in time. Send us in the return, the 2 batters. Had ample time in the world to scamper through for a single, taking the tally to 102 for the loss of 5, over number 17 in progress. Ishfaq is out in the middle, unbeaten on 4 of 6 balls. Aqib is on 26, and that has been heaved in the air. Aerial down towards the mid-wicket area. Fielder sliding to his right and does well, gets to the ball in time before he can return the ball. The 2 batters once again had a lot of time in the ball to scamper through for a brace, taking the tally to 104 for the loss of 5. We are in over number 17 of the match, and this broadcast is brought to you by Arc of Fenestration, Anthem Sports India, Fashion Feast. Improvisation comes in, and they should beat the fielder down to the 5 leg boundary for more runs. And well, we talk of the evolution time and again. Cricket has also evolved ever since its beginning, and that has been the case. Look at that one. Improvisation, and that yielded a boundary.
Absolutely true. See, with the passing time, things change, and if you do not change the way things change around you, then you are certainly living in the fool's paradise. A lot of things do happen, and those have to be incorporated into your own playing styles. When it comes to cricket, a lot of shots have been rather invented. Match ka mujrim aake, so that can you are not sure as what's going to happen further in this final match of the tournament, because I have already talked a couple of times about this. These high tension matches, I must say, those high pressure games are generally low scoring games, and very quite often we get to see a low score, and then we see the team coming to play the second innings have really struggled at times. And even if there are big guns like Adil Kachru playing in the team, and I still believe, and I'll just stand with the beliefs that I already have, is that the beliefs that I have are that a bowler can actually do the magic in one particular given ball, and the batsman can actually do the magic in one particular given chance to come to the middle and bat. So it is definitely either of the ways. The bowlers can the bowlers coming after this the first innings, they can actually be equally effective. So there is no surety or assurance that this match is one-sided, or else like it's not going to be a great game of cricket. We are not going to have a bigger score, so the other people coming to the middle will be doing things at ease. It is not that easy to be there in the middle. See, it's just one ball that you could not actually connect well, and it can actually go to a fielder in the form of a catch or something. So the bowler comes, and the batsman, what a shot! By far, that is the shot of the day played by Ishfaq. What improvisation in the previous over when he just played that slow. That is called a scoop, I believe. Yeah, that's a scoop. Munawar is updating me on this. Believe me, guys, I'm not that proficient when it comes to cricket and the things that are cricket technicalities, we must say. So this time around, the batsman dancing down the track, hitting through the line again, through that extra cover region, and the ball raced away to the boundary line. The score moves on to 113 for 5 yet again in this over, and the batsman yet again trying to improvise, and a soft catch into the hands of the wicket keeper, and that could really have been a great shot again, but then it is just a matter of fact that he was not able to make that neat connection between the bat and the ball. And in fact, I believe that ever since Ishfaq came into the middle, he kind of tried to just bring some hope to his team, and he has been successful in doing so. At this point of time, when you have been sent down to the middle, you do not have much time to just stay in the middle and then just place yourself in and later think of the loose deliveries and just try to score runs. No, you just right from the very first ball that's bowled to you, you just need to be very keen to score more runs upon it. Alright, all those people who have joined us, let me take their names. This with us, beautiful commentary, bro, love you, thank you so much. Sophia Ayan, thanks for your support, is what JK Sports Time wants to tell you all. Akash Mansoor is with joining us. Keep joining, keep sharing, let others also know that there is something like this happening, so that we all get a great support from you all. So it's 17.2 overs have been wickets. Watching from London with Queen Elizabeth. Oh, I'm happy for you, Faisal. I'm happy for you. Yeah, हमको मालूम है जन्नत की हकीकत, लेकिन दिल के खुश रखने को गालिब ये ख्याल अच्छा है. That's amazing. In fact, I was talking about comments like that. It really makes your mood. You really feel happy because you have been standing for a long time. Then all of a sudden you get. And the batsman has guided the ball towards the third man region, and the fielder has been placed around that area, and the batsmen have crossed over for another single. 100. Big fan, sir. Thank you so much. Dar Ejaz is watching this match live with us with JK Sports Time. So Haris has been sent into the middle, and Haris was the man who just guided the ball of Ishfaq to that third man region, and the batsmen were able to pick up a single. 114 at the loss of 6 wickets. Ishfaq comes once again in this over, and the batsman, the ball keeping low, and that was an awkward bounce to the sure that he's all right there, thankfully so, because that was an awkward bounce, and that could actually produce an injury to that wicketkeeper as well. So that time, I don't have much grievance of the batsman because the ball kept too low after pitching. Then we have Dar Akib England. Okay, Danish Bakshi is with us. JK Sports Time is really thankful to all the people who have joined us live, or else keep on joining us on daily basis. Of any matches happening around. This is the final match of Shalbugh Super League. One more time in this over, and the batsman just tried to play a hook shot. Aqib hasn't really not been able to place the ball, time the ball, or else play those bigger shots. As I just mentioned in the earlier as well, that he has really been at the middle for a very long time. It's really hot out here, and he certainly will not be left with much amount of energy. So it is the 18th over. One more ball left to be bowled. Ishfaq comes, crosses the umpire, bowls. Aqib goes down the track and plays, and this time around the fielder will certainly field with very clean hands and will throw the ball back to the wicket keeper. The batsmen have crossed over for a single, 115 at the loss of 6 wickets at the end of the 18th over. 2 more overs, and for my prediction they need to just go for 25 runs. Let's see what happens.
Well, only the time will tell us. We can't say anything until the last ball is non-ball. But you rightly mentioned, and you threw it out earlier, that this is the game of glorious uncertainties. It is the matter of just an over, and a bad over can change the things. A good over can also make things happen. But at this very crucial juncture, it's 115 for the loss of 6, and Bird Enterprises are unable to get themselves back on track, and they're unable to launch that counter attack on the opponent bowling attack. And the opponent side, they have really shown the caliber, the class, and their attack has really been potent, and they've been up to the mark and up against their ante, and they have been bowling in the right. It is 115 for 6, 18 done. Over number 19 in progress. The ball number 1 coming up our way, and we'll have to wait and watch who's gonna come in and bowl that over number 19. We are into the death house. Asghar is going to bowl with the very ball number 1 way outside the off stump, and umpire signals it survived. There is addition in the tally. Score moves to 116 for 6. Over number 19 starts off with a wide. The 2 umpires of the match, Advocate Hilal, the umpiring sensation, and his colleague Fazan. These are the 2 umpires. Irfan Dar, Rafi Wani, and Fayaz Sangeem are watching this very wonderful and the grand finale of Shalbugh Super League for year 2022. Well, second time we'll have to re-bowl that one. Firdaus Sheikh will definitely love to work on the basics, and Sajjad Sultan writes in, thank you. That one, after pitching on good length area, the ball bounced over the blade, and he wants you to cut that one, doesn't get hold of that, and the ball flies over his blade, and wicketkeeper does well, standing way back the stumps, and he takes that one into his gloves cleanly. So no harm done. 115 for 6. Over number 19 in progress. That was the very first ball, to be precise, in terms of the legitimate deliveries, and a second time he's gonna bowl the second ball of over number 19 as he comes running in, crosses umpire and bows, and that has been sent to packing. That is a towering blow, gone all the way, going and gone all the way for 6, half a dozen, and that 6 takes the tally to 122, and that has been really a top notch from this gigantic guy, and that is a wonderful hit.
So Fayaz Sangeem is already advising something, and is saying give Haris the strike, and that is something that has really proved really fruitful and good for Team Bird. In fact, not many batsmen have just walked into the middle and have been playing good shots around here. So one more time in this over, Asghar comes and bowls, and the batsman taking advantage of the bowler being a bit lazy at that point of time of approaching the ball and trying to get a run out for his team. In fact, Haris played an amazing shot on the previous delivery. That was a straight hit, and those kind of shots are something that really just make your day. You really love to watch these kind of shots being played by hitting through the line. And if it's a pacer, Asghar is a kind of a pacer who has really troubled the batsmen who have walked into the middle. We have seen he's really bowled very well. In fact, he can move the ball around. We are into the 19th over, but on the very first delivery that was declared as a wide, I could see that the ball was still moving. So that is some metal this young gentleman carries. One more time in this over, and Aqib. Yet again, it's Haris, I believe, on the strike again. So that was Aqib. Was that Aqib who hit a 6? I'm not very sure about it. There is some confusion with the scoreboard there. So I'll have to just confirm things, from people who are responsible for that first, and then later I'll give you the first-hand information about what all I've got to know. Asghar one more time, 121. The scoreboard is not updating. There is some issue with this. So in some time we'll be able to just get things right. So Asghar, the man, the tall man from the far end, crosses Advocate Hilal, the standing umpire for this final match. And the batsman yet again trying. Haris is the man who is trying to just hit bigger shots here. But on both the occasions, the previous delivery and this delivery, he tried to hit a big shot but then wasn't successful enough to do that. So here we are at Shalbugh Ganderbal, and this is the final match of the Shalbugh Super League, and 20 teams participated in this tournament, and finally we have 2 teams here in the final match. The prizes, and it is AliJana Cricket Club. Oscar comes and crosses the umpire and bowls, and the batsman dances down the track, Haris, and tries to go for a big as well. And I believe that's an over bowled by Oscar, and what can be better than bowling an over like this when it is the 19th over of the innings. 123 at the loss of 6 wickets and 1 final over to be bowled. I believe the way things have gone here at Shalbugh, and the 2 heavyweights that you just described them while we were going for that toss session and all in the beginning itself. So the heavyweights, I believe the team fielding first, Asif Rasool and other people like Adil Kachru. We certainly have batsmen, carrying a great name playing in that team, and they surely should be happy enough with the total that has been put on the board by the other team, Team Birds. Please tell me score. The score is, Jami Bashir, the score is 123 for 6 after 19 overs, and now Ishfaq is the one who will be bowling the final over, and Haris is the man, Aqib is the man, I beg your pardon, will be on strike. And this is your time, Aqib, to prove your mettle. Yes, you have been there in the middle for a very long time now. The ball keeping a bit low and the ball taking the toe end of the bat, and the batsman have crossed over for a single. See, any run that comes at this point of time will certainly make some impact on the score, on the total of the team, as they haven't been able to make a big score so that they could challenge, with an open chest. And the batsman crossed over for a single. And this gentleman Haris is known for his bigger shots, and we'll have to wait and watch and see. What a shot is that! No chance for any fielder to get even closer to that ball, and that is a blistering hit. Pulling the ball, feeling very early that the ball is going to be shot, pulling the ball down to that mid-wicket region for a 4. And by virtue of those 4 runs, the team total has gone on to 128 at the loss of 6 wickets for the Team Bird. Right, Idris playing 11. We'll update you on that a bit later, because we are already into the 20th over. So 4 legitimate and legal deliveries left in this over so far. We'll have to wait and watch and see as how far are the batsmen able to just pull their scoring rate a bit. So one more time in this, so we'll have to see what does Ishfaq do. So he goes fuller, and there is a sloppy stop by the wicket keeper using his pads, and the batsmen have got a chance to cross over for a single again. So the first 3 deliveries have gone for 6 runs. Now what do you say? What is going to happen for the other 3 deliveries to be bowled?
Well, if we talk of the bowling here, batting side, they were definite. Then I have to say that the 15 or 10 plus odd runs are coming. But Nazir, what do you think?
जी बिल्कुल, प्रहार करना होगा आखिरी 3 गेंदों से, ज्यादा जितने रन बटोरे जाएंगे उतना महत्वपूर्ण होगा और एक विशाल लक्ष्य की ओर खड़ा कर सकते हैं.
Well, you mean whatever comes to the bowling side, where they should get the runs. So we're talking about the batting side. Nice, but doesn't get success on that occasion. Beaten all ends of a dot delivery, and that's it. And 129 for 6 after 19.3 balls. And Jami Bashir who have sent us the stars, and JK Sports Time is indebted to your love. All the beloved viewers, thank you for joining us, and do join us back for the chase in a while. We will be underway with the chase when it will be brought to you. Don't worry, stay tuned and stay connected. Next ball, that's a good looking shot, chipped away in the air and down towards the extra cover for more. And that is a good shot. Saw that fielder. That short cover is up inside the 30-yard. He just chipped it that one over his head and down to his extra cover boundary for more runs. And in fact, he digged that one out towards the extra cover. And that has gone down towards the extra cover boundary. There is addition to the Telemann 33. I think he might prove yourself right, sir. And if he's gonna go all guns blazing on the very, that has yielded a boundary. He stays put. and sends that one over the side.
Absolutely, and at that point of time, if you remember, Munawar, I had said, Nazir, you were a witness to this. I had said plus minus 5 runs. I said it will be 140 runs plus minus 5 runs, and it's not 5. In fact, it's just 3 runs. 137 at the loss of 6 wickets. Yeah, 3 runs I believe is negligible. Yeah, so you can excuse me out for those 3 runs. In fact, it was a good batting display. In fact, it was better on the bowling side. The bowlers who came on to bowl, and they really bowled in proper zones, in better zones, so that they could actually just make some impact, good impact for their own team. Team Birds have been able to just put up a score of 137 for the loss of 6 wickets, and when we'll come back with a chase, and we'll bring you live visuals from the same ground itself, and then AliJana Cricket Club will be chasing a total of 137, and they'll be chasing it for 138 runs to win this game. Don't go anywhere. Adil Kachru is gonna come and join the batting side and score some runs for his team.